Have you ever felt lost, searching for a guiding light in a world that often feels complicated and overwhelming? What if I told you that wisdom from 2,000 years ago could offer the clarity and peace we all looking for today? We're going to explore some of the most powerful and life-changing teachings of Jesus Christ. These aren't just ancient words. They're timeless principles that can radically transform how we live, love, and see the world around us. Stick around, because you might just find the answer you've been searching for. Let's start with a principle so simple, yet so profound, that it's known as the Golden Rule. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "So in everything do to others what you would have them do to you." Think about that for a moment. It's a universal code for kindness and empathy. Before you speak, before you act, before you post that comment online, just pause and ask yourself, is this how I would want to be treated? Imagine the ripple effect if we all lived by this. Arguments would soften, compassion would grow, and our communities would become places of mutual respect. It's not about a complex set of rules. It's a simple, powerful shift in perspective that starts with you. It's about recognizing the shared humanity in every single person we meet. Building on that foundation of empathy, Jesus gives us what he calls the two greatest commandments. When asked what the most important law was, he replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind." This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is the very core of his message. It's a call to a love that is total and all-encompassing. First, a vertical love, directed towards God with every part of our being. And second, a horizontal love, extending out to every single person around us. No te sesos, love your neighbor as yourself. This implies we must also have a healthy self-respect and care for our own well-being. It's a balanced, holistic approach to life. Love up, love out, and love in. These two commandments are two sides of the same coin. You can't truly have one without the other. Now, let's talk about something we all struggle with. Judgment and forgiveness. It's so easy to see the flaws in others, isn't it? But Jesus offers a startling challenge. He says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged." Then he gets even more graphic with a powerful metaphor. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? It's a call for radical self. Before we rush to point out someone else's mistake, we need to take a long, honest look in the mirror. We all have our own planks, our own blind spots, biases, and shortcomings. Acknowledging this doesn't mean we ignore wrongdoing, but it fosters a spirit of humility rather than superiority. It reminds us that we are all works in progress, in need of grace. And what about when someone genuinely hurts us? The human response is to want revenge, to hold a grudge, but Jesus teaches a revolutionary, countercultural path. He says, "Love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you." This is one of the toughest teachings to follow, but it's also one of the most liberating. Holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Forgiveness isn't about letting the other person off the hook. It's about setting yourself free from the burden of anger and resentment. Praying for someone who has wronged you can completely change your own heart, replacing bitterness with the potential for peace that you never thought possible. It's the ultimate act of emotional and spiritual freedom. In our modern world, we're constantly bombarded with messages about what we should want. More money, more success, more stuff. It's a relentless pursuit. Jesus speaks directly to this pressure, questioning our priorities. He states plainly, no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and money. This isn't a condemnation of wealth itself, but a warning about where we place our ultimate devotion. What is the driving force in your life? What do you sacrifice your time, energy, and peace of mind for? Jesus cautions that if our primary focus is material gain, we will inevitably neglect the spiritual side of our lives. It is a choice we all have to make. What will be the master of our heart? This leads directly to another one of his most comforting teachings, especially for those of us who are chronic worriers. He says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." This is a powerful invitation to practice mindfulness and live in the present moment. So much of our anxiety comes from catastrophizing about a future that hasn't happened yet. Jesus reminds us to focus our energy on handling today. It is about trusting that we will have the strength and resources to handle tomorrow's challenges when they arrive. It's permission to let go of the anxieties that steal our joy and to simply be present, right here, right now. To really drive the point home about what truly matters, Jesus asks a piercing question: for what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? This puts everything into perspective. You could achieve every external measure of success, fame, fortune, power, but if you lose your integrity, your compassion, your very essence in the process, what have you really gained? It's a timeless reminder that our inner life, our character, and our spiritual health are infinitely more valuable than any temporary, worldly achievement. Our soul is our most precious possession, and it's worth protecting above all else. This question encourages us to define success on our own terms, terms that align with our deepest values. So, how do we navigate this path? How do we live out these profound truths? Jesus flips our conventional ideas of greatness and power completely upside down. In a world that tells us to climb the ladder and be number one, he says, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all." True greatness, in his eyes, isn't found in authority or status, but in service. It's found in lifting others up, in putting their needs before our own. This is the definition of servant leadership. Greatness isn't about how many people serve you, but about how many people you serve. It's a radical redefinition of power, shifting it from domination to empowerment. He continues this theme of humility with one of his most famous blessings: "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Now, meek is a word we often misunderstand. It doesn't mean weak or timid. In its original sense, it means strength under control. Think of a powerful wild horse that has been tamed. It has lost none of its strength, but now that strength is channeled and controlled. Meekness is about having self-control, being gentle, and not needing to assert your own dominance. It's a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be loud or aggressive, and Jesus promises that this gentle strength is what will ultimately endure and triumph. But what if we feel weak? What if we feel like we don't have the strength to forgive, or to serve, or to stop worrying? Jesus offers a beautiful and simple promise. He says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you." This is an open invitation. It's a call to active faith. It's not passive wishing. It's active, asking, seeking, and knocking. It shows a posture of reliance on a power greater than ourselves. It's an assurance that when we reach out for help, for guidance, for strength, we will not be met with silence. The door will be opened. And that brings us to the ultimate source of our strength. When faced with a seemingly impossible situation, his disciples were at a loss. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." This is the cornerstone of faith. It's the belief that even when we have reached the end of our own abilities, our own resources, and our own strength, there is a divine power that transcends our limitations. It's a message of infinite hope. The things that seem impossible in our lives, mending a broken relationship, overcoming an addiction, finding peace in the midst of turmoil, not impossible. This teaching invites us to shift our perspective from our own limited power to God's unlimited possibility. So, as we reflect on these words, we see a coherent and beautiful vision for life. A life rooted in treating others with the same love we desire for ourselves. A life centered on loving God and our neighbor. A life free from the poison of judgment and bitterness, and filled with the liberty of forgiveness. A life where our priorities are straight, and our hearts are free from the grip of worry. A life where true greatness is found in humble service, and where our limitations are met with infinite possibility. These aren't just nice quotes for a coffee mug. They are a practical, powerful blueprint for a more meaningful, joyful, and peaceful existence. Whether you consider yourself a person of faith or are simply searching for wisdom, these teachings offer a path forward. They challenge us, comfort us, and ultimately, invite us to become the best versions of ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through some of the most impactful words ever spoken. I hope they've given you something to think about, and perhaps inspired you in some small way. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more content that explores life's biggest questions. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these teachings resonates with you the most right now? Until next time, take care and be well.